What is up, everybody, and welcome to the show. It is time once again for the Wrestling Wire. I am your host, the Saint, of course, and as always with you guys. You know, not every weekend now, because some weekends have been kind of hectic lately for your boy, but for the most part, we still trying to keep it moving, still trying to keep it pushing, and we always covering the latest and greatest news in professional wrestling. This is all televised stuff. We don't do too much to indies. We might compare and contrast some indie things. But for the most part, man, we stick with what's going on the big shows, the AEWs, the WWEs, the Impact, and the NWAs, as you can see across the bottom of the screen. That's kind of the point of this one. So, at any rate, I hope this finds you all well. It's actually a pretty decent day out there today. If anybody's got anything they want to bring up, you know how it works. You send a comment, we talk about it on air, man. That's how we do this. The yesterday the WWE held Crown Jewel, and I'm gonna tell you one thing, that was a badass show for what it was. Now I saw a lot of people, oh, it sucked, or I'd have been mad if I had paid for that, more money because of it was just stuff you could see on, Monday or Friday. Well, for the most part, yeah, you're right. But isn't all wrestling the same thing you could have seen Monday or Friday? I mean, you got to build and then have blow offs. They built the Strowman and the Omos story up. They got us to the end. They built up Roman and Logan Paul and got us to the end last night. You know, all these things happen, man. This is how it goes. They've been building up the Brawling Brutes versus the Usos, Bianca and Bailey. I'm not. I didn't like the hot step on the tag titles. Yeah, Bobby, I agree, man. I thought it was an awesome show. I thought it was a real good show. Um, but I don't like how they did the women's tag titles, jumping them. It's kind of like they're hot potato in those that tag division. I still don't know if it's something that they need to do or if they should make one women's tag championships and they go from NXT to Raw to SmackDown and I kind of think that would be a cool idea. I think that if it was me, that would be the way it would go. Now, I'm also a purist where I believe there should be one tag team champion for both shows, and the champion should work both and appear when they need to appear. Same goes for the heavyweight title. Keep your IC title and your US title separate. Keep them apart. Having those being able to travel is cool. And if you were to create a cruiserweight, yeah, those guys work all the time anyway. That's just like the regular indies. Because they work so frequently, it's not going to be a big deal for them to hop, skip, and jump. That's what they normally do already. That would work out well on that end. But they had to merge the cruiserweight and North American title on NXT, and so here we are now. I just feel like that's a bit different. Yo, Facebook user, yo. I mean, let's see here. Let me go ahead and bob on over to the Facebook page and see if I can tell who that was who said yo. Oh, that would be a Mr. John Matthew. Hey man, look, how's the knee? I gotta know how's the knee. Any word on Randy Orton's return? Um, I don't know if he's had his back surgery or not yet. To be honest with you, I'm hopeful that Mr. Orton is coming back sooner rather than later. I'm a big Randy Orton fan. Um, the guy has been consistently awesome for like 20 years. Was he as great as he is now back then? Nah, not really. But it's one of those things where, he really developed further into his own. He's real lean. He looks good in the ring. He's so smooth in the ring. I almost think he was criminally underrated for a long time as to how good he actually was. But yeah, he's one of the best heels in recent memory. Yeah, I can't say ever though, bro, because you gotta go there when you're talking about people at that greatest ever. When you're talking greatest heels ever, you gotta talk about Ric Flair. You've got to talk about guys like Triple H was a great heel. He really was. You got to talk about Rowdy Roddy Piper, man. I think Roddy Piper was one of the best ever on the microphone. Period. But that's me. Deshaun Williams chimed in to say, "I agree with you on the tag team titles." Hey, Deshaun, look, and Matthews, look, y'all. Here's the thing. Y'all got to hit that when you see me going live, right? Um there should be a little additional point for that StreamYard thing that tells you how you can get your name to show up on here, and then as we're talking, we can keep going with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to look over here to tell me who you are, so I can bring it up here. And then when I pop up your name on the video, everybody know who it is. Like, all right, man, I'm gonna be taking some time off for a while. That's John Matthews. I know that because I asked him about his knee. Um, but yeah, so if you guys can hit that StreamYard button and get your name verified or whatever, be on par. Rena Royce signed in to say, Mr. Consigliere, how are you doing, my brother? Good to see you. Um, Bobby, hell yeah, man. Those are names that when we talk about great heels in professional wrestling, I think of guys like that more than I think of people like Abdullah the Butcher or Big Van Vader or guys like that. Yeah, they were heels, and they were over. Dude, Vader's one of the best of all time when it came to big man wrestlers. Like, there's no joke about that. But there's a lot of great heels in there. It's why it's hard to say like Randy Orton's the best heel in history. I'll say he's one of the greatest. He's one of the top heels ever in this business, but I can't say greatest ever. But that's your opinion. And dude, I'm not arguing with you. You know what I'm saying? Definitely not arguing with you on that one. I miss him too. Let's see here. New Jersey, Vader was awesome. Dude, Vader was badass. I'm trying to think. Wasn't it the match with him and Mankind where Mankind's ear got ripped off? Wasn't that there? And in the same spot, ripped off part of Taker's ear when he went against Austin. But I think that was overseas. Man, there was a lot to that. Either way, man. I hope they keep going with some things. I'm gonna tell y'all what I've seen so many people talking about Bray Wyatt and this. They don't like this Bray Wyatt story because he's not doing anything. If you can't tell that this has been going on for 2 months or better, almost 3 months now, that we've been dealing with this Bray Wyatt, White Rabbit, the QR code, and the vignettes and the little glitchies every now and then. You got all that going on for the past 3 months or so, 2-3 months. You've seen Bray Wyatt on screen less than 6 times in 3 months. He is so over right now. He don't even need to throw a punch. And he's like one of the most popular, captivating things on TV every week. It doesn't fail. That is called storytelling. That's art. That is art right there. It's so badass. I am just loving every bit of it. Look, the Honky Tonk Man is a heel too. He was a good heel. He was a solid heel. I agree with that. Definitely. That was Scott Larson, the host of Hashtag Truth and the writer for the Carolina Independent Wrestling Report, by the way. That's who that is. Mr. Larson. And I'm ready. Me and Scott are heading to a wrestling show next weekend. We'll be attending a show in Welford, South Carolina. More on that Thursday. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, watch my show Thursday night. We'll talk about that stuff. That's the indie show. This is the big boy show. This is where the big boys play. I guess is what we could say to quote legendary Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. I recently got a picture, man. It was sent to me. My nephew and my brother went to Scott Hall's grave, and they sent me a picture from, and it's his actual, grave site. And I'm like, damn. I'm, it's crazy because they know where it is. I got a rough idea. I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly where it is because I ain't ever been to it, but I know where it is. It's in Southern Maryland. Dude, I agree with this. LA Knight, dude, his new stuff is awesome. Yeah, and I really enjoy watching him work on air. He's pretty smooth in the ring. He's got a good look. He's a hell of a promo. I think the dude is destined to. I could see him going up against Seth Rollins. I could see him being U.S. or IC champion. Definitely. I don't know if I could see him as a heavyweight champion. I really don't think I can go that far with him. But as far as a U.S. title holder or whatever, oh, definitely. U.S. or Intercontinental, I could definitely see that. 100%. He's a badass. He's a good worker. He's very solid in the ring. Um, let's see here. Crown Jewel, man, opened up with a bang last night. What it opened up with was there was a matchup between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. That's what opened us up last night. Now or yesterday, 12 o'clock in the afternoon here on the East Coast. I was like, what the hell kind of ending is this? It like threw me for a loop. Like, that's how they're gonna end this? But the cool thing was it was something we didn't expect to see. Lesnar struggling, but still pulled off the W out of mentally he was capable enough to pull that off. That's that stuff that you don't expect to see. And that's why I thought it was awesome. That's why I was like, okay, it's different. It threw me for a loop. It shocked me. I was all about it. So those are those type of moments where you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Is that then as somebody who's been around it, you're also kind of like, well, was that supposed to happen? Was it not supposed to happen? I don't have any ins and outs there, so I really don't know if it's going down like that. But that's what occurred. So it was awesome to see how it went down. Um, let's see here. We're just chilling and recapping the show from yesterday. So let's see here. Let's see. All that's set right. So there's just a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff came out of that show, and a lot of people complained. Man, a lot of people were like, "Look, it doesn't make no sense that the title changed hands for the women's tag." I agree to an extent. I like the fact that they're making it a point to have it, but I don't understand what the changeover was for because, kind of, this is where it gets kind of hairy for me. If follow me if you can. We had the title change there, right? So that's making you think, oh, damage control is going to be holding all the gold by the end of the night. So it kind of planted the seed of doubt that Bianca Belair was going to lose. And I actually thought that Bianca was going to lose, but Alexa and them were going to retain. I thought that it was going to go that way. Then in a week or two, Alexa and Asuka would lose. That's kind of where I thought it was going. I didn't think it was going to be all titles shifted in one night. That's a little bit too. That would have been too predictable, which is what I was getting at. So I mean, it kind of planted that prediction seed where everybody thought, oh well, if they lost, that's Bianca's done for. It's over. Bailey's our new champ. Now, did Bailey get hurt? I haven't heard any reports of her being hurt, so I don't know about that. I did hear that Logan Paul tore his meniscus, ACL, and MCL and finished the match. That dude has had 3 wrestling matches. 3. You can look 3. 1, 2, 3. And he performed better than people we've seen perform for 10 years. No bullshit. He read the crowd, but he was in there with Roman, who's like our, this generation's Cena or Hogan or Austin or Rock or whatever. He's the current era's guy. The fact that he performed that well on a main event stage under that caliber with that caliber of talent, dude, I'm convinced that was awesome. Um, yeah, I retweeted the video from him. Well, because he had the phone in his hand, I retweeted that out and made a couple of comments. There was a couple of people there on Twitter like, "Why would you wait till 4 o'clock tomorrow to talk about it?" I was like, "Well, I'm going to talk about it on my show instead of talking about it right here, right now. I can talk about it whenever I want, but I would rather save my content for my showtime because I need content to put on the podcast networks and XWW and all that. Oh, speaking of, I forgot about that. Let me go ahead and plug them real quick. XWW Extreme World Wrestling. Be sure you check them out. Facebook, and they are a Roku app. So if you guys want to check them out, you can catch up on all sorts of local indie stuff. You can also find podcasts there, including this one, The Wrestling Wire, as well as the Thursday Night Indie Spotlight, which is based right here in the Carolinas and Georgia. We cover shows in those areas. I say we, it's predominantly me, but I got multiple personalities, so we do that. That's a great venture for me, and I'm all about it. So big props to Manny. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity, and we're here to knock it out the park and deliver. So let's see here. We were talking about Crown Jewel. We're getting back to that from 10 minutes ago. You got DVR, or you got a search button. You can kind of click, bop around as we change pace. I wonder if there's a way to put flags in this thing, so that way it's like, oh, here we went kind of sideways here, 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 and 30 times later, and you can kind of pick and choose where you want to be. Um, Bianca Belair retained versus Bailey. That match was awesome. I think there was something different supposed to happen with the golf cart, and if you look closely, you can see a piece of lumber fell out of the roof of it because I believe they had stuck some wood up in there to brace it to make it stronger. And with that failing, it changed the dynamic of what they were going to do. But it still worked out. It was still a good, it was still a good way to go about it. They still did their spot, and Bailey still went through the table. But I think Bianca was supposed to like KOD her off of that through the table. I think that was it. Or maybe not, because the ladder and her being stuck was awesome. That was cool. They shoved her in they got the ladder in there and they tucked it under the rope so she couldn't lift the damn thing up. That was hilarious. I didn't think that's how it would go, but I'm down with it. Let's see here. Oh Christ, I don't want to watch no highlight video. What the hell is this? No. Why did that even pop up? That's not supposed to happen. Let's see. Jimmy and Jay Uso defended successfully against Holland and Butch. I'm kind of done with Jimmy and Jay and the New Day, but at the same time, they're they're the greatest tag teams of the modern era. I don't expect to see the club after any gold for a while, or if at all. I don't expect to see that. I watched their match yesterday, and I can't remind it or I can't remind it. Yeah, remind it. That's it. I can't remember it for anything in this world. Like, I know that match happened. I really know it did. But I was just like, yo, I don't recall how this went. I know it happened. I was just surprised. My prediction, right, for this was that at the end of the match, Logan Paul was going to deck Roman. Then you were going to have Theory cash in. Dude, oh, let's see here. Michael Tippett, that's my nephew right there. What did I think of Logan Paul and Roman Reigns match? I thought it was fantastic. Um, Logan Paul at match number 3 performed better than guys who've been doing this for 5 and 10 years professionally. So you can say what you want, but I thought it was excellent. Did anybody anticipate? Um, does anybody, did anybody anticipate Logan winning? No, but there was a couple of moments on there yesterday where I was like, oh my God, they're going to go with it. These crazy assholes are going to give that man a strap. Do I consider the FTR the same level as the Usos? I consider the FTR to be the current best tag team um, on the planet, and that took a lot of convincing and a lot of the last 6 to 9 months for me to put FTR on there on that level as the New Day and the Usos. Um, the Usos have been consistent because of they haven't really been injured much. I just think the Usos have been more consistent than any other tag team in the last decade. I'd say decade. Decade's probably pretty safe. 10 years. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. At least the last 5 years, they've been consistent. Um, and they haven't been real injury prone. FTR's been through a slew of injuries. The New Day's been through a slew of injuries, and the Bucks have been here and there and in and out. So that's them. Um, I Other than that, like who else do you consider on that level? The Acclaimed are pretty entertaining. They're as over as anybody. That's for damn sure. The Acclaimed are definitely over. Swerve in Our Glories, okay. Um, the Gun, whoever the Gun Club or whatever they are, the Ass Boys, they're all right. They're okay. They got a little hitch in their giddy up, but it's I don't think they're that good on the mic. They're decent in the ring. I just don't find them that good on the microphone. And it's not about just what you could do bell to bell. Anybody can get in there and whip somebody else's ass. Can you make me want to see you whip their ass or make me want to see you get your ass whipped? Is the direction that needs to go, if that makes any sense. There needs to be a why. It doesn't just need to be a fight for a fight. A fight just to have a fight is okay. You need to have a story behind it. Why are we here? What is this about? That's kind of like I actually have this feeling we're getting ready to go Mustafa Ali versus Braun Strowman. I think that's the direction WWE is getting ready to go because it's weird. Their back and forth on Twitter is like super odd. So the Bray Wyatt spot during Crown Jewel yesterday was fan freaking tastic. I loved it. I look the Fiend as a character, okay. It's entertaining. It's different. Bray Wyatt, period, is entertaining as hell. I like Bray Wyatt, just period. It doesn't matter whether he. I didn't care for him back in the Nexus days when he was Husky Harris or whatever. I never liked that. I didn't like his name, and I knew who he was. I was just like, really, this what you got for him? Like, I ain't down with this. I'm not feeling this. Um, I was just like, man, there's so much more we could do with this. Why are we doing Husky Harris? You gotta be a little bit more in depth, or you gotta be a little bit more. There has to be more to it than that. That's like I didn't like Ryback either, which his name is what Ryan Reeves or some shit, and he's a dipshit. Um, so Ryback was dumb. Wade Barrett, that makes sense. Okay, PJ Black or whatever his name was back in the day when he wrestled for WWE, that worked. A couple of those guys, it made sense and it worked, but some of them, I forget it. Mason Ryan, didn't that wasn't he there? That made sense, but one second. Let's see here. Yeah, but Strowman and Omos was actually fun. I didn't anticipate that to be a 5-star classic banger, but you get two big dudes throwing big hands. and big boots. You get two massive individuals slamming and knocking the shit out of each other. That's good stuff. I'm not going to sit there and say that, it was Andre and Hogan's level. Dude, the problem is, I think we can directly relate feed me more to feed me more steroids and low IQ. Also low testes. But that's his problem, not mine. Fucking Ryback's a tard. I have no use for that guy. Um, I didn't like him in the ring. I didn't like him on the microphone. I didn't like the feed me more gimmick. I didn't. I don't like the guy at all. I get it that he was poster boy for what they wanted, but the reality is, if I wanted a knockoff Goldberg, I'd go hang out in the Indies or go find somebody better. You want me to give you an idea of a knockoff Goldberg? Better. I know a guy who's better than Goldberg that don't look like Goldberg, but is built like Goldberg, and that's the real Drago. That you want to know a guy who looks like, who I'd love to have seen go against Goldberg in his prime? The real Drago. Let's go. Promise you. You want to talk about an ass whipping from hell? Let's see that. I think that'd be way better. And anybody who knows the real Drago, you know I'm right. So that's all that matters. If you don't know who I'm talking about, after this video, go look him up on Facebook. The real Drago. Go look him up on YouTube. The real Drago. I promise you won't be disappointed. That dude's insane. Mitch Robertson's another good one. Yeah, no, dude, Mitch Robertson doesn't remind me of like a Goldberg style character. Mitch Robertson can actually wrestle and has a fucking personality. Jesus. Ryback doesn't have a personality. He doesn't have an IQ. And then the remark about Alexa, how her chest should be tag team champions. Dude, what a shit stain on the underpants of professional wrestling. Like, the guy is an absolute turd. I have no use for Ryback. I don't like him. I didn't like him then. I don't like him now. Would I work with him if I had to? Yeah, of course. That's called being a fucking professional. That doesn't mean I've got to like the guy. I don't like everybody I work with now. Day job or wrestling. Doesn't change anything. That's fucking human nature, guys. It's called being an adult, being a professional. That's the key word in wrestling, is professional wrestling. That's the title. But dude, Roman Reigns and back to Roman and Logan, that was a badass matchup. That was real fun one there. Let's see here. What else did we have happen on that show? Because I done forgot. Like I said, the Judgment Day and the OC. Didn't the OC walk away with that? I think the OC won that one, didn't they? I done forgot how that one went down. I know that Asuka and Alexa lost to Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Bobby Lashley lost to Brock. But, hey, that was kind of where they were at, because Brock got beat last time by Lashley, and it was a bullshit win. So here we go. They've done kind of leveled that playing field up. They could build that all the way to WrestleMania, man, and it'd be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Build that up to Mania. It'd be fine. We covered that Bianca Belair lost to Bayley. Or no, Bayley lost to Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair retained her title. My bad, I said that completely backwards. Let's see here. It was a really good matchup. It was a really good show for what it was. There were so many people that got just ridiculously picky about, oh, you can see it on TV. Well, yeah, I watched it on TV anyway. What's your point? What are they going to build towards next? Who the hell knows? I'm hoping that they keep building towards something and we get, you know, are we going to get Jake and Logan versus the Usos? I don't think so. I hope not. Are they going to do something with Sami Zayn? I don't know, but this is probably the most entertaining Sami Zayn's ever been. I'm still not the biggest fan of his in-ring bell-to-bell work, but his on the mic right now, he's money. His shtick with the bloodline is gold. Leave it alone. Let's not put him on. Let's not separate that yet. Let's not end that yet. Let's keep that shit going. If you want to wait till Mania, okay, that's fine. I still don't see him with a WrestleMania moment. What's with all these four-person cliques forming? Oh, you mean like the club and Judgment Day and or the OC and Judgment Day and all that? Uh, well, Judgment Day's been around months at this point, and then the OC was a thing back in the day, and they're a thing again now. Uh, Four-person cliques. You got the Bloodline, but the Bloodlines five people plus Paul Heyman. Uh, Judgment Day's four, three men and a woman. OC's probably gonna add a lady to that. I mean, they did a bunch of stellar shit with that OC and Judgment Day matchup. Man, them dudes went after it, man. They got after it. It was a good show for that. If you wanted storylines to end, Drew and Karrion Kross, the way that ended was awesome. That was a smart way to end it, and it made it look like it's kind of well, yeah. Well, Bailey's. Well, no. Would Bailey's team add one more? I don't know because you've got Nikki Cross interfering in that matchup. That was the other thing. Nikki Cross showed up. Talk about shit that doesn't make too much sense. I get costing them the titles. Understood. But you mean to tell me that this girl flew all the way across the halfway around the world, got through security, got through the building, got into all this, paid for a ticket, got a hotel room, all that mess, just to cost them the tag titles? Like, you got to make it make sense. That's not something that what I would have seen making sense over there unless Nikki Cross had a reason to be there. Make it make sense. That was kind of my thought with that one. Um, ah, let's see here. The Drew McIntyre and Karrion Cross matchup was a good time. Yeah, she's done with the superhero gimmick. That's over. You think they're about to add her? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, no, her superhero gimmick's gone. But then you got Dewdrop. What are they going to do with Dewdrop? Are we finally going to get Piper Niven back? I'd be happy. We get Piper back, and then maybe we can get Butch to lose his name and go back to Pete Dunne. You know, Pete Dunne, Pete Dune, whatever you want to call him. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Don't call him, just don't call him Butch anymore. It don't matter, man. I would be all about it. Let's see here. Also had we've had a lot of stuff going on in the last couple of weeks here with AEW. That one came out of Baltimore, Maryland. And if you didn't see it, I shared a video on my Facebook page. I may have gotten it off Twitter or retweeted it. I don't recall. But Hoss Haygood is an indie superstar. He's a badass indie wrestler. Well, he was in the crowd at Dynamite, and some drunk fan was trying to tell him about chopping. Big mistake. Watch the video. That's all I got to tell you. Watch the video. Good stuff. They're gonna bring back Nia Jax and tag with Dewdrop. I just ate, man. Don't do that. I can't stand Nia Jax. Dewdrop is what Nia Jax was supposed to be. A good, safe, larger wrestler. That's it. Unfortunately, Nia Jax isn't good. She's not safe. She wasn't a good wrestler. She didn't deserve it. I'm not going to say that she was a complete void of personality because she had some. There were some moments where she was all right, but ugh. Oh, I don't just stirring the pot. Yeah, that's fine too. I don't care. Let's see. Darby Allen, talking about Dynamite now. Darby Allen versus Jay Lethal. Jeff Jarrett comes out and interferes in the match. Darby loses, then gets hit in the head with a guitar. It's like, what? What are we doing? Why? Jarrett? Jeff Jarrett. Of all people, Jeff Jarrett. JEFF, Jesus Christ. Jeff Geriatric. Yes, Jeff Geriatric has entered All Elite Wrestling. Guys, I don't get it. And I even said to a couple people, I'm like, why? Like, I was cool with what he was doing on the Indies. I was fine with him working for the E. I was fine with him working, period. But now it looks like he's going to be wrestling full time or wrestling very frequently. It's like, man, look, I thought he was doing stuff outside of this. Or isn't he still a piece of GCW Game Changer Wrestling? Isn't that still his baby? Or is it? I don't know. Either way, it's just like I'm all right with seeing him every now and then. But I don't want to see this cat every week. But now apparently it's like him and Sting. What are they going to do? Have him retire Sting? Give that honor to somebody who deserves it, like Darby. That makes sense. Have Darby be the one to retire Sting when it's Sting's time to go away. That would make more sense. You're building the guy up, you know? Having Sting turn on Darby, nobody's going to buy it. Everybody's going to hate Darby, not going to hate Sting. Stop what the dinosaurs are push the kids. The problem, Scott, with that is they put the kids on air and they lose ratings. Tell me I'm wrong. Go look at Brandon Thurston and follow his numbers on the Twitter machine, and you tell me that the analytics are wrong. Ratings only matter to people when it supports their narrative. Case in point. SmackDown didn't pull as higher ratings because it was on a different channel that's on a cable package and less known and yada, 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 and all this other shit. AEW ites are all up in the air about, oh my God, they beat WWE in the ratings. Yay. But then when SmackDown's on this regular show and AEW's ratings are slipping, oh, you know, ratings don't mean anything. We don't care about ratings. We just love the product. Oh, well, it matters when you on top. So as long as it fits your fucked up narrative, then it's okay. But if it doesn't fit your narrative, then you got a problem. Fuck that. That's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. I don't want to hear it. I've hit that level of it. I don't care. Go follow Real Analytics and go check out Brandon Thurston and what he's got to say on the matter about the ratings and how they work. But ratings today are not the same as ratings 5 and 10 years ago. Here's why. Streaming services, how are they quantified? Then you've got some people just watch it on YouTube and they just watch the latest YouTube short things. You can go on YouTube right now and catch highlights from Crown Jewel and be perfectly caught up. You don't have to watch everything every day anymore. I still watch roughly 12 hours a week of wrestling. That's an average week for me. I watch 12 hours of televised wrestling content. It's not including the indie shows I go to, work at, podcast, none of that shit. Has nothing to do with any of that. That's just TV watching, normally on the DVR with my kids and the missus occasionally, and thumbing through commercials and all that shit. Still about 12 hours worth of time tied up a week. Okay? Because I take this pretty seriously. I like to have cognitive information and have interesting conversations with you, the viewers of this show, because you guys are what make it fun for me. If you don't realize that, that's why I'm like, dude, the more the merrier. I'm one of those people. Bring it on. Let's talk. Let's talk it out. Let's talk it. Let's talk all this stuff out. Push the kids by beating the dinosaurs and get veterans who don't have huge egos and want to do it. It's still not going to pop the ratings though. Like, okay, who is going to believe Daddy Magic or whatever the Matt Menard or whatever weird ass gimmick names they use now? Who's going to believe like that guy beating Sting? Nobody. Who's going to believe somebody like that beating Jeff Jarrett? Nobody. Who's going to buy any of them beating Chris Jericho? Nobody. You see what I'm saying? You got to make it make sense as well. You got to give me something to keep me hooked. Dynamite wasn't a bad show this week. I remember watching it. It wasn't bad at all. There was a couple parts in there where I was, I got all up into it. I think they're actually heading towards Ethan Page versus John Moxley at some point. I know the build is MJF versus Mox, but I can see Ethan Page being in this title picture. Believe it or not, I see Ethan Page in the title picture, and I'm not against it. Ethan Page is a hell of a worker. Ethan Page and Josh Alexander were a great tag team. Renee Paquette did their interview with Saraya and Baker, where Baker no showed, then had her shit with Tony Schiavone later. I get it, but weird. Let's see here. They did the birthday bash for Billy Gunn. That was a good time. I thought that was hilarious. The only thing I would have done different, and this is yet again, this is me nitpicking with an opinion. I think it would have been cool if when you went out there to take the scissors from the kid that made him in the audience, you should have given the kid a little foam finger scissors. That'd have been awesome. I think that would have been just cool as hell to see that. I thought it was great. Then there was this. There was they're adopted by Billy Gunn now. That's hilarious. FTR come out, good shit there. It's kind of like two face teams that are beloved. Well, one face team that's over and one beloved tag team. That's how you build a face versus face matchup. It's not that complicated. Chris Jericho versus who was it? Colt Cabana. Colt was damn near crying walking to the ring. Did I miss something here? I get that he had been relegated useless since Punk came back because they got problems with each other, but I don't see where anybody logically thought that Colt was going to beat him. And the match was weird. I don't know if it was a spot that blew or if it was intentional that they fell off the top rope and went down through the side of the ring and all that shit. I don't know what was real and what was fake there, but I was like, that was ugly. So, just weird. The All Atlantic Championship match was Orange Cassidy, Ray Phoenix, and Luchasaurus. Orange Cassidy retained. Then it's was it Shibata's gonna go up against him on Rampage, which I watched that as well. Jade Cargill defeated Marina Shafir. Here's the thing: did you notice they kept not looking at the ring with the cameras because they were trying to hide the weak points of both Shafir and Cargill? I don't think Shafir's that bad. Cargill's developing. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't see it. Like, if they ain't good enough to have them on your TV and in focus, why are you putting them on screen? That's some shit you do on dark. That's not something you do on, give me a break here. You see what I'm saying, right? You guys understand. So Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage. Samoa Joe obviously retained his title. It looks like there's going to be something coming out of that eventually. Holy crap. Twitter notifications going kind of goofy. Um, Either way, like, why are we dealing with certain places doing shit like that? Now I'll get back to SmackDown here in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out Rampage at this point because we're already talking AEW. Might as well finish up with AEW, and then we'll talk about a little bit of Impact. I have not been following the NWA that tightly lately. Just busy, busy, busy. NWA is a fantastic product. I wish it was on TV. I'd watch it way more intently. But when stuff is available for me to watch on my phone, I'd probably either rather play a game on my phone, be talking to my people on the phone, or whatever I do on the phone. And I don't sit in this office in front of this computer at all anymore. I mainly just sit here to do shows. Very, very infrequently do I do anything else with a computer ever. I just don't. I need to start carrying my laptop around. That's what I should do. That way I can do all of these things at one time. That might be my next big idea. I'll just start doing that. Let's see. You had Orange Cassidy versus Shibata. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his first name because no, I won't want to do that. But Orange Punch, and then he pinned Shibata and retained. You had Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Madison Rain and Sky Blue. This is a weird matchup. Like, what's the deal with Madison Rain and Sky Blue? Why are they together? One, and then why are they going against Britt and Jamie? Dude, I'm a firm believer that Jamie Hayter's your next AEW Women's World Heavyweight Champion, World Champion. That's bar none. Take it to the bank. And matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I was on somebody else's podcast like 6 months ago or so, and I told them then, oh, Jamie Hayter's going to be your champ within a year. She's going to be your women's champion within 1 year. Watch. I saw it then. And here we are. We're heading right there. We're heading right to what I talked about. But, it's okay. It's okay. Not everybody's going to acknowledge you when you say things that come to fruition because they don't want to feel inferior when they told you no and that's dumb. I don't see it. That's because you're not on my level. You can't see it when you're not here looking at it from my perspective. That's why you can't see what I see. I see different things. And that's okay. I'm not mad. They'll be all right. They'll eventually figure out how to pull ratings. They're good. Let's see here. Ricky Starks come out, talk his shit. Sammy Guevara challenges Bryan Danielson to a 2 out of 3 falls match on Dynamite. Why? What? I don't understand where Guevara thinks he could hang with Bryan Danielson for one match. Guevara sucks on the microphone. He's not that good in the ring, and he's annoying as hell on social media. To me, there's no upside with Sammy Guevara. And for everybody who's like, oh, he'd get, but if he went to WWE, no, I wouldn't like him there either. If you don't like somebody, period, you're not going to enjoy seeing them. Yet again, somebody I'd work with if I had to doesn't mean I'm going out to dinner with them. You feel me? You got to learn to control your personal and professional worlds. Got to keep that shit separate. War Joe, which is Samoa Joe and Wardlow versus the Gates of Agony, which is Khan and Toa Liona. I don't know who that is. And Prince Nana. I don't know who any of those people are. I know who War Joe is, but the Gates of Agony, I have no idea. Wardlow pinned Khan after a quartet of power bombs, is what it says here. So he hit him with 4 power bombs and then pinned him. Yet again, I'm cool with Wardlow. I like Samoa Joe. I think they could do more with Samoa Joe, but here lately, man, Raw, SmackDown, all this shit's been hitting on different levels. It all depends on what you want to see, how you want to see it done, and when. Friday Night SmackDown's been on a tear recently. Has it been as good as it's been the last 6 months? Nah, probably the last couple weeks have been a little shaky. But that's the thing. We were getting to Crown Jewel, and with Crown Jewel being held overseas and all the travel and all that other shit, bro, they had to keep stuff moving enough here to also get your talent over there. There was a lot to that. That's like I'm not so sure that the segment. I know it had to be. SmackDown had to be taped this week. It had to be taped this week because the Usos were on Friday Night SmackDown, but earlier that day on Friday they were also on that press conference with Roman. Like we saw that. Well, let me phrase it. I saw it. I shared it. It's on our TRWC Facebook page, the Real Wrestling Community. You can find it there. Um, but bunch of good stuff there. Let's see here. SmackDown. Liv Morgan defeated Sonya Deville in a no DQ match. I've never really been a big Sonya Deville fan. I don't think she's all that great. Liv is coming on into her own. I think Liv's on a whole nother level right now. Do I see her as holding a title for long? Not necessarily. Do I see her as being entertaining and getting up there? Of course. I think it's time we see Asuka versus Rousey. I would prefer that route more than anything else. I want to see Asuka defeat Ronda Rousey. So now that the women's tag title thing's over, send Asuka to SmackDown, Asuka versus Ronda, please. Then, if you want to give me a good tag team, give me Liv and Bliss. I would be real happy with Liv and Bliss together in a tag team. Oh, I mean in a wrestling ring. Um, just so we're all clear. Get your mind out of the gutters there, ladies and gentlemen. That's not okay. Um, LA Knight defeated Ricochet. Not the biggest fan of Ricochet not picking up some wins, but Ricochet and Mustafa Ali almost need to get together and work on being a tag team or something because those two are very talented, but there's some. They're in a land of giants, man. You got to be. I ain't saying everybody's got to be 6'6" and 260, but you know you got to be of some size to make any weight here, make anything big. They don't do a bunch of the lowbrow titles and shit. They got the 24/7 title, which we haven't seen in a while, thank God. And I'll be happy if we don't see it again. I'd be happy with it going away. Just give it back to R-Truth and let him retire it. Be perfect. The Bloodline brawled with the New Day and the Brawling Brutes. See, that's what I'm saying. They were on a press conference earlier, so I'm fairly confident SmackDown was taped this week. Shayna Baszler defeated Natalia. I'm cool with that. I like Natalia. I am down with. Oh, here we go. Speaking of Ricochet, do you think they'll bring back the cruiserweight title at some point? I brought this up in the past that if you're going to make it one heavyweight champion that doesn't have to appear on every show, he doesn't have to be everywhere every week. That's bullshit. That's that attitude era, PG era shit. Attitude era, a ruthless aggression to PG era, all that. When they were doing that, you had your main champion on TV every week, and there was a title match all the time. Uh Keep that shit special. Right now, we are at this point where the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title are the most prominent they have been in years. I am all about it. I love that. When I was a kid, I wanted the Intercontinental title. I didn't want to be world champion. I wanted to be IC champion. It was the belt that was held by Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, and guys like that. Austin, even Owen Hart. All them cats who held that title. Ken Shamrock. You know, yeah, that level. I thought that was the title, man. The workhorse title. These were the real badass guys. They were there all the time and kicking teeth in and all that. Loved it. With those being more prominent, could we do a light heavyweight championship and a cruiserweight champion, or just one? I would rather just be the light heavyweight title. I think that'd be fun. The light heavyweight championship instead of making it the cruiserweight and all that shit. Leave cruiserweight where it is. Cruiserweight over here in WCW day. Go back to the light heavyweight title. Like you have Taka Michinoku and guys like that. I'd be all about it. And that title could actually go to all three shows with ease. Like I said earlier, those guys already work indie style. So they already look like guys who run on the indies, which are guys who run 3 and 5 nights a week. They're wrestling and they're traveling all the time. That fits their style. That fits their build. And if it's cruiserweights, light heavyweights, whatever, you're not going to be upset if that title bounces around a bit. You're anticipating that because it's always on the line. So think about it like this. You got Monday, maybe you don't do it Tuesday, but then you got a Friday. Then, you skip Monday and you go to Tuesday. Then you go back to Friday. You see what I'm saying? You could rotate it like that with ease and make it make sense. That would be badass in my book. I think that'd be a good time. Could they do, more stuff they could even do more stuff with live shows and have that be like something that also gets passed around on live shows, which is going to bring up your live attendance. If you go to a house show, a live show, we go to the local Memorial Auditorium over here, you're not expecting a title change because it's not televised. However, the film crews are there. They're going to capture the moment. It's going to be released on the internet. All the fans who are there are going to tweet it out and everything else. Dude, bro, we got to go be at the next auditorium show. Son of a bitch, did you see that? This guy won this title. Yeah, man, it happened. You're going to talk about it the next day at the water cooler at work. That's the type of buzz you need. In my opinion, that's the type of buzz you need. Putting everything you do content-wise out on YouTube and all this, okay. I wouldn't do it with house shows. I wouldn't do it with house shows. Leave house shows to house shows. That's how I feel about it. That's good stuff. Now, could you post results of live house shows? That's different. If you kept them up as a news article, then it makes it look like, oh, well, this is going on in live shows, huh? I wonder, that would generate some interest. I think that would be, in my opinion, the news coming out of them versus the video and being able to see them, I believe is more intriguing because it's going to make the fans want to go and be there in person. That's just my theory. But yeah, I'd love to see the light heavyweight title come back, man. I would be all about that. Back to SmackDown. Braun Strowman wrecked MVP with running power slams. Gunther defeated Rey Mysterio to retain the IC title. Dude, that was a wild ass match. That match went on way longer than I anticipated to. They went a good, 15, 20 plus in that one. So I thought that was a good matchup. But I mean, Monday Night Raw has been a little bit, but it ain't been all that hot. SmackDown's been fairly decent. Dynamite's been okay. Rampage has been alright at best, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan, so I got a hard time sitting here saying, how much I like it or whatever. Not everything's for everybody, and I'm man enough to say that just because it's there don't mean I like it all a lot. You know what I mean? I was checking to see if there was what came up from Impact Wrestling, because that's what we got left to talk about. And then other than that, it's just open floor and free for all and fuck it all and let's talk shit out. That's pretty much where I'm at anyway. But as far as Impact went, I swear to God, if Impact Wrestling was on a better television channel, more people would watch it. I really do think that this is a very decent product. The storylines are more cognitive here, which in my book, storylines is half the reason I want to watch a wrestling show anyway. It ain't all about what happens bell to bell. Okay? You can put Mike Tyson in a ring versus Evander Holyfield every day of the week. Eventually, people are going to get tired of watching that. Unless you give them a reason as to why they're in the ring every week. Then people are going to be like, oh, well, Mike Tyson said this about Evander Holyfield's mama. Well, Evander Holyfield said this about Mike Tyson's old lady or whatever. You see what I'm saying? You got to give them a reason to want to watch it. There's got to be something of sustenance. There's got to be a hook. You don't catch fish normally with just a empty hook. You got to have some bait in there. You have some bait on there that makes them bite that joker. Same with fans and wrestling. You got to have some reason that we want to be there or we want to tune in to watch it. But Impact has been PJ Black defeated Yamura as the best I got. PJ Black looks like a fucked up pirate right now, and I'm cool with it. But it is what it is. The dude's awesome. He's a hell of a worker. Mike Bailey defeated Kenny King. Oh, Shane Odom, what's up, man? That's what all wrestling needs. They also need more shockers like a title change or heel turn at house shows. That's what I'm missing in wrestling. Give you an example. At Crown Jewel, WWE should have had Logan Paul win and then Theory cash in. Roman Bloodline could have snapped. Look, I wouldn't have said the Logan Paul win part, but what I would have said was Logan Paul gets that one lucky punch in after Roman beats him. Then, gets down there and trash talks him, and he gets him up and he's getting ready to, bash his head in again. Then, Logan hits him and lays him out. Theory comes out, cashes in. That's what I said. I actually predicted that. That was my prediction. It didn't happen, of course, but here we are. Look hook, line, sinker. Yeah, better than that. Hook, line, sinker, boat, motor, trailer, truck. I took all your shit. Hook them all. Get them all the way in there. But Shane, I definitely agree with you, man. I think that's what it needs more of. There needs to be a reason to tune in and want to tune in and view it. Knockouts. World Tag Team Champion Jessica versus Savannah Evans. Savannah Evans and Tasha Steelz defeated the Knockouts World Tag Team Champion Jessica with Death Dolls. I guess that's how that went down. Like I said, I got a real bad memory. That's why I got to look online and read shit, and that's about as good as it gets for me. Sami Callihan defeated Eric Young with Diener by DQ. Ain't Diener the guy who's got cancer? Or do I have him confused with somebody else? I think that dude's fighting cancer right now, isn't he? Weird. But either way, man, you had Moose versus Ace Austin with Chris Bay. Ace Austin defeating Moose is weird. That's weird to me. You got to make it make sense, but it is what it is. Oh, that's Joe Doering. Thank you. That's Joe Doering. You're right, man. My bad. Yes, Scott Larson, Savannah Evans is a North Carolina girl who's going places. Hell yeah, I agree. Seen her on a couple of flyers down here, man. Nope, I still can't believe I got that wrong. Then who the fuck is Diener? I don't remember the guy. I can't remember Diener for some reason. But you had Josh Alexander and Frankie Kazarian defeat Aussie Open. Dude, then after the match, you had Kazarian to hand the belt over. It's going to be Kazarian versus Josh Alexander in 2 weeks at Overdrive. That's going to be a hell of a show there. But coming up in 3 weeks, just under 3 weeks' time from right now, Impact Wrestling is going to be right here in North Carolina. Well, right there in North Carolina. Where the hell am I sitting at? Hold on. I'm here. That way, they're going to be in North Carolina in 3 weeks because they're going to be part of WrestleCade. They're going to be part of WrestleCade up there in North Carolina. So, uh, don't know. Don't know if I'm going up that way or not. I know nothing about it. I haven't talked to nobody. Ain't figured nothing out. Just I'm working on other shit right now. But that's going to be neat because they'll be there. I know Johnny Swinger's around and does some work nearby. Hell, I met him. I met him at the gathering. Nice guy. He was polite as hell. He was a real nice guy. I got to meet a ton of people, but he was pretty cool. Um, I'm I'm a firm believer that if Impact Wrestling was on a better television network, they would be legit competition for the WWE and AEW. Firm believer. Do they need to be on Spike? Dude, Spike would be good for them. In fact, anybody would. And look, anything's going to be better than what they got. Right now, I would love to see NWA come to a TV network, and I want to see Impact go to a better television network. Not necessarily better than the NWA, but I want to see all of these companies keep going. Competition and variety is good. Variety is good, right? Variety is the spice of life. Baskin Robbins doesn't just sell vanilla ice cream. They've got 31 fucking flavors. So you can pick your poison when you go there, right? Same with professional wrestling. I prefer Slugfest. I like that New York shit. I like that beat the living daylights out of each other. So like Walter versus Sheamus was probably the best thing I've seen in 5 fucking years. Easy. That's my way of looking at it. I like seeing stuff like that. I also like to see. I would love to see like Daniel Bryan and Bret Hart. You know what I mean? Like that classic technical clinic. I want to see that stuff. Every now and then, I'm cool with car crashes. You know, give me the Hardys, the Dudleys, and the ENC. You know, give me that on an occasion. Keep it special. Other than that, man, the rest of it's kind of just the rest of it. You know, the women's matches have a little bit of everything thrown into them. That's why I think that they're kind of fun right now. Ronda Rousey's gonna beat the brakes off of you and tie you into knots. Somebody's going to jump out the ring and do a flip. You know, this one over here is going to knock the living shit out of you. These things are all entertaining. And it's that whole division is kind of just that way. It's jumbled up. So there's no like linear directive. Whereas when you're watching the men's wrestling, it's kind of like, oh, you'll see a flyer match or you'll see this type of match or whatever. So, speaking of Impact, to me, Rosemary and Father James Mitchell would be a perfect fit with Bray Wyatt. Okay, I like that. A lot of people are saying that it's going to be Bo Dallas coming back, which I'm not against that. I would definitely be into. I'd be into seeing a lot of different things. But right now, let's just keep this Bray Wyatt going as best as we can. He hasn't thrown the first punch, and he's selling great on merch. He's a huge ratings draw. He's one of the most watched and talked about. Water cooler, YouTube, Facebook, social media, whatever. He's one of the most popular things in professional wrestling right now. He hasn't thrown the first punch. You gotta love it, folks. You gotta love that. I love that. I think it's fantastic. But at any rate, you know, this is so much more fun when more people are chatting. So I want to thank everybody who chatted in today. Bobby, Scott, Shane, Deshaun, damn it, I forgot his name. John. Yeah, John Matthews. All y'all. Appreciate y'all for chiming in. I greatly appreciate y'all viewing my show. Be sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, notify, whatever you want to do. If you feel like it, awesome. If you don't feel like it, okay. If you would hit the reaction, that's always appreciated. You know, thumbs up, likes, hearts, whatever. Laugh at me, cry at me. It doesn't matter. Any of that stuff. I appreciate everybody and everything. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks as we build towards the Survivor Series, which is coming right after Thanksgiving. So it's been real. It's been fun. Hell, folks, it's been real fun. We'll see you next time. Thus proclaimed.